Hey buddies, I want to weigh in on this YouTube is going to kill gaming videos and gaming as we know it controversy that's happening right now. Brought about by, I think the first time I heard of it was when Angry Joe tweeted that Maker Studios sent out an email blast to all of its creators saying that going into the new year, monetization would occur not instantaneously but slowly in a manual process where you must submit your rights to the video and the content within, and that it would be approved by a person. And this is apparently a benefit of being a part of a partner network like Polaris or Machinima, is that you get instantaneous monetization, and that's why many people join partner networks. I'm confused by that because we have always had instantaneous monetization, and as you will know, we have never been a part of a partner network. We joined the YouTube Partner Program day one, and we were approved within a few days when it first was debuted. So we've been partners as long as it's been available publicly to apply. We've always had instant monetization, and I think that may be attributed to how there's always been a rumored multiple tiers of partners in YouTube, that with trust level you can go to higher tiers. And I actually want to bring that up now too, is that they've said that based on trust level, it's possible that this slower monetization process that's coming to some people will be alleviated by trust level. And let me show you what they may be talking about. I'm going to show you a lot of the back end of YouTube today because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there right now, and it's a little bit annoying to someone who sees it every single day, and I hope I can clear up some of it. This is your trust page on YouTube. Trust refers to whether your account is in good standing or not. Here you will see community guidelines. That's referring to how you interact with the community, whether you're posting videos or comments that have to do with racial tirades or bad things. But here's where the meat of it is and what we're going to be concentrating on today. Copyright strikes and Content ID claims. Speaking of Content ID, before we continue, let's get the terminology out of the way, and I have even been guilty of intermingling or interchangeably using the words flagging and Content ID claim. And let me just show you what the difference is. Flagging is something that you can see on any video anywhere on YouTube. If you click the report button down here, you can report videos for bad things that shouldn't be on YouTube, but then down here you have infringes on my rights. And this is if you are the rights holder to a piece of content like a song or a movie, you can flag it to bring it to YouTube's attention. For the most part, flagging probably isn't used very often by especially large corporations like Sony, who owns a huge music library, doesn't go around manually flagging videos. The Content ID system was brought about by YouTube because of this problem, the sheer huge amount of content that's uploaded every day. No content owner should be considered to be responsible to go out and find all of the things that are infringing upon their rights. Now, Content ID is an automated system as opposed to this manual one that uses a huge amount of data that is submitted by copyright holders to YouTube, like Sony would say, here's our music library, and they use a fingerprinting technology, that's what the YouTube describes it as, to search their entire YouTube library for instances in which snippets of music from that library might be used during the video. They apparently also use some visual fingerprinting. I don't think that's really happened with us because from my experience, the only Content ID claims that have been applied to us have been song or music related. So once a piece of music or sound has been found within a video, it then is forwarded to the Content ID system. And let me show you the process for that as a YouTube creator. So once YouTube has identified something on your videos that has Content ID based on their library of music that they are searching for, they will send you an email and it says information about your video. Here is a Nintendo one, Skyward Sword, part 99.5. By the way, this happens often. Our half parts like our pre-shows and post-shows because there are large instances in which we don't talk for a while and it's easier for the system to find those musical snippets. You can then go to your copyright notices page. Here is one of 3 that we have for videos that have been identified. In here, it will tell you whether you have, it'll just say next to the videos, matched third-party content. In this instance here, the Slender, the Arrival episode that we did, if you click that, you go in here and it will tell you who has made the claim and and why, and for what song it is being applied. It'll give you a little timestamp telling you where it happened. And in this particular video is when we played this radio and an old song came on, and we left it playing long enough that it was identified by 2 companies. Sometimes you'll get up to 5 companies in here making a claim on a single song, which is funny to me. Mainly because it is so indicative of what a quagmire we face when a Sinatra song that we played recently, because it was attached to a Call of Duty Ghosts trailer during one of our show and trailers, was claimed by over 10 different organizations who at some point throughout history had included that particular song on an album, a compilation, or just a greatest hits of Sinatra. The rights have traded hands so many times that once this Content ID is found, so many different companies just jump on to specifically popular music and they pile on, and for the most part I don't even bother with it. But speaking of which, when I do want to bother with it, you either acknowledge or appeal the claim, and let me show you how that process works. So down here you will see acknowledge versus appeal. You can just acknowledge and say, yep, it's valid, I used a piece of music in my video and I shouldn't have, I'm a bad person. Or you can appeal. Let's go back to my copyright notices page and choose a video to appeal right now. Let's see here. We got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was immediately flagged on day 1 of release. If I head in here, I can see that Luigi's Mansion 2, Luigi's Mansion 202, so they don't even have names for these songs. Sound originally administered by Nintendo. It tells me exactly where it appears, and I can acknowledge or dispute. So I'm going to dispute this. Here you indicate why you believe the copyright claim is not valid. You can say that some of these are laughable, you own the CD or DVD, so therefore you own the rights to it, which is ridiculous. You gave credit in the video. No, that does not give you the right to post material. The one that applies to most Let's Players and gaming channels out there is my content meets the legal requirements for fair use or fair dealings under applicable copyright laws. Continue. Under here, you just indicate that I am sure of this. I am very sure. I've appealed many of these. I know what fair use is, and that's a topic for another video. Continue. Then under here, you explain briefly why. And I have a macro that I use because it is pretty much the same situation for every video. This is an original production and transformative work that includes fair use of footage and music originally composed and licensed for the video game Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the purpose of parody and review. I have in good faith believed that this claim has been made in error and that I do have the rights under fair use to use it. And then you sign your name digitally and continue. And then you finally, you just confirm it. And I have submitted many of these. Now, once that has happened, you can go back to your copyright notices page, and let me head back to page 1 here, where Luigi's Mansion has now been disputed, and where it said match third-party content before, it will now say, or it should say, yes, disputed third-party matched content. Once that has happened, that process has begun, the waiting game begins, which can take anywhere from 1 day or an hour to 30 days is the limited time that they are allowed. If they don't respond within 30 days, it's supposed to be released, the claim, and then you can then monetize as usual. Many creators do wait the 30 days and then release the claim, which I think is a bit of a jerk move. But then there are those who wait 30 days and then reinstate the claim, which in the case of Nintendo is a jerk move almost exclusive to them in my experience so far. Some companies instantly release a video based on fair use, so instant that it almost seems, and I'm almost certain it is automated, where a company will say, if there is a fair use claim made against this piece of content, release it please, because it probably is fair use. That happened particularly a lot with Mass Effect videos that I claimed fair use and they were instantly released. I think that is because in the instance of some video game companies, they have released soundtracks and they acknowledge that there will occasionally be videos from the actual game shown, and while they may not want their entire song posted up like from the soundtrack, they may be okay with game footage. I'm only speculating, and I will try to always tell you when I'm speculating versus I have full knowledge, but that is my guess, based on the fact that some videos, and I feel like Nintendo was included in this group for a short time, would instantly release. And when I say instant, I mean like I get an email the second I clicked submit saying your content has been released. Let's get back into the Content ID system and show you the next step that happens after that's happened. If a video is not automatically released, then, as far as I can tell, the Content ID claim is forwarded to an actual human being at the company who owns the rights to the content that was identified by the system. In this case, we're going back all the way to 2006 for a video that was very recently, within the last couple months, identified for containing the Mario theme. Nintendo actually identified this originally as being a snippet from one of, apparently, a rap album that was released that they licensed the use of the theme from World 1, Stage 1. You guys might recognize this theme.
Yeah! Do it!
I informed Nintendo that this, in fact, was not from that rap album that had a snippet of the Mario theme, but in fact it was from the actual background music of Nintendo Super Mario Bros., which they acknowledged and changed this to reflect that. That human being agreed with me on that particular point, but that same human being also reinstated the claim, indicating that fair use was not legitimate in the use of a fictional sketch that refers to video game culture of the 80s and 90s, in which Nintendo Super Mario Bros. Was a huge part. That's a topic for another vlog, and Nintendo's stance on that is one that I highly contest, but I want to keep on topic with copyright claims and the processes. If I feel adamant that this is a legitimate use of the Super Mario Bros. Theme, and I do, or I feel that I have enough legal resources and money to contest this, and I don't, I can then press the appeal button. Let me show you how that works. Once a Content ID claim has been reinstated, you may remember that this button right here used to say dispute. It now says appeal, which is a different process that only accounts that are in good standing have the ability to use. If you appeal a reinstated Content ID claim, you submit your personal information to the copyright owner, and this is where both sides have to put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and demonstrate the strength in their convictions that, yes indeed, they truly believe that this is legitimate or illegitimate application of fair use law. As you can see here, this form gives me the opportunity to state my case in the fair use of the copywritten work, which, if digitally signed and submitted, goes to Nintendo, who can then decide to do one of two things. They can finally agree with me on the fair use of their content within the video, which removes the claim, allowing me to monetize the video just like I could before the Content ID system identified their copywritten work within it in the first place. Or they can issue a DMCA takedown notice to YouTube, who automatically complies, because remember, YouTube does not make determinations of fair use, they leave that for a court of law. Speaking of the legal mess that would begin if I counterclaimed. So once that DMCA notice has been issued, a copyright strike is applied to the YouTube user's account, and the video is taken down, replaced by one of those red banners that says that this video has been removed for a copyright claim from insert company name here, in this case, Nintendo of America. That's not where it stops though. After that, the user can then submit a counter notification. A counter notification is a legal request to YouTube to reinstate a video that has been removed for a copyright claim. This is forwarded to the content owner, who can then decide whether to, and this is where I'm a little bit foggy because remember I haven't been through this part of the process. It's possible this is where the DMCA notice comes in, but it's also sort of an all clear for us to sue the pants off each other, which won't happen and hasn't happened for as far as I can tell, especially in the Let's Play space. And there's a reason for that that I'd like to get into in a video that I'm going to call The Court of YouTube, Fair Use, and Why We Should All Just Get Along. But one of the main reasons why I will never go to this length is, besides the fact that I don't have an army of lawyers, which, you know, these copyright owners no doubt do, there's the fact that I have so many claims from Nintendo. And if I stirred the pot or woke the sleeping giant and counter notified them, it is completely possible that not only would they reinstate the copyright notification, but they would also apply strikes to any of these videos, because one of the scariest parts of this whole process is the fact that while a company can say, even though you've been identified through the Content ID system, we're going to let your video stay up and we're just going to put our own ads on it. Even though they can be nice apparently and do that, oh thank you sir for letting me fair use your content, they can at any time change their mind and apply a copyright strike to all of those videos, which is a good case for me deleting everything that has been identified at this point. I'm not too worried about that at this point, because that would create a big brouhaha in the court of public opinion, which, like I said before, is probably the court of YouTube and the court of public opinion maybe and probably are the most important part of this entire fiasco. But again, that's another topic. I want to finish up with one more type of copyright process that happens with YouTube, which is another sort of a manual one, and will probably apply to what people have been talking about with this process that's going to be instated in January. Back onto my email account here, every so often you will get an email. I've only gotten 2 in the history of being a YouTuber that will say that we have identified a video that we'd like to verify you're authorized to commercially use all the stuff in it. In this case, it was for A Hat in Time, which you guys might remember is an indie title that we did a pre-Kickstarter, or rather a Kickstarter promotional video for. And when this video came to me, or this request from YouTube for more information came to me, we were at PAX, and you only have 14 days to respond to this. By the time I got back and caught up with all my email, YouTube had already decided to remove all monetization from the video, and I can never get it back. Even though I had full permission, and even though I didn't need it to cover a video game, again, topic for another video about fair use. But let me show you the form that if I had gotten to it in time, I could have used to keep monetization on that video. This is just a simple form that I believe is sent to a human on Google's side that allows you to explain or copy-paste, I suppose, the explicit written information from the owners of all content within the video, or you could say right here that I produced all content in the video, even those songs and everything that you see in there. You're mistaken, it's all mine. You could say that there. In the case of the Kickstarter for Hat in Time, I would have said in there that they gave us full permission to use the video game as promotion, and I would have had to actually ask the Kickstarter guys to send me an email to copy and paste into there to prove that I was allowed to use the game, which is ridiculous because like I said, it is fair use. I am allowed to review and preview video games and use visual content from that content to demonstrate what I am talking about. That's the very nature of fair use. I'm going to have to force myself not to get on that topic right now because I want to concentrate on this. But this process is potentially one that is going to, if applied, and I do believe this is kind of what's going to be applied if the rumors are true in January, to accounts that haven't been instantly monetized without the use of a partner network. Who knows, it might be applied to us who have been instantly monetized without the use of a partner network. I will report when that happens. But going forward, am I concerned about this? My personal opinions on this? Not a lot, because we have been planning to, because of what you've seen here today, the influx, and it's been ramping up in the last like 3 or 4 months, the amount of Content ID claims have been prohibitively, logistically, not only annoying, but time-consuming for us to address and deal with. Even though our fair use claims are legitimate, it does take a lot of time to go through them, and as you saw from our back end on in YouTube there, I've just been letting a lot of them go because it's frankly not really worth my time to go through the process, which in the case of Nintendo will almost always be reinstated, and in the case of a lot of the other ones, it's here and there. But like I said before, more and more companies are piling on to each individual claim, which is making it very difficult to dispute. Those things in mind, this is why we plan to sort of draw you guys, hopefully, to follow us over to our site for more and more content, and YouTube will more often be an avenue for our highlight reels in which we can completely control what is included within the video instead of just the raw feed of what we shot live. Again, I have a lot of thought to put into that, and I will tell you guys about it as I develop my strategy going forward on that. In the end, the most troubling implication that this system might have is in the case of smaller channels that have not yet put their account into good standing, or have not yet, or are freshly partnered with YouTube, and have not garnered the trust from the algorithm that will supposedly be applied to this process as you get more videos approved. There's supposed to be something that bugs you less or asks you less for proof of monetization as you have been approved more and more. This may result in smaller channels just having to concentrate on companies that have explicitly stated on websites or otherwise, or emailed permission to them to cover their game, and that will almost exclusively apply to independent titles. Minecraft in particular is a popular example that has explicitly stated on their website that you can direct YouTube towards, that says video creators are allowed to use our content, our game, for content that can be monetized. Their only stipulation is that you don't use the word Minecraft as a part of your brand. So like, we couldn't take Minecraft Awesome and use their logo and say Minecraft Awesome and put it on our video and like try to make it seem as though we were affiliated with their company. You can read it on their website, but anyways, I guess that kind of sums up my thoughts on it. I'm not too worried because there are other places for us to go, and even if those, actually that's another point. Maker Studios, the ones who kind of the story broke from, that sent out this email warning people about this coming, have just acquired, in the last 2 months, acquired blip.tv, which you guys may identify as the place that we post our videos for use on our website. Blip TV is now owned by them, so potentially to be used as a tool by their library of creators and affiliates and partners, or whatever they call them nowadays. They've identified the threat that YouTube can at any time change its policies and processes, and have begun getting ready for that. They've prepared for this. We have also been preparing. We don't like putting all of our eggs into one basket. For the longest time, we have been posting to both YouTube and Blip. In addition to that, I am looking at another company, because if we leave YouTube for a larger capacity, we're going to want to have an alternative to Blip as well, because I never want to be beholden to any one company and their whims. For all we know, tomorrow Blip could say, you're not a part of the Maker Studios network, so, you know, get lost. We're deleting all your videos from Blip. There's nothing I could do to stop that. So, you know, we also have our own personal hosting solutions that we're looking at as well. And all of this is going to be made possible by the support of the community. And our Turbo Club. We have more than one ways to continue making a living on this. But in the end, my last message is to all the alarmists who were worried that this means the end of video games awesome. It certainly doesn't. We're going nowhere. We are doing this. This is our life. This is our job. I have no plans to ever do anything else so long as you guys keep on supporting us. Life will find a way. And whether that means, you know, there are some things I actually want to address for how this industry could be sustainable and how we can all coexist. Again, that's a vlog that's coming. But there are alternatives, and with your support, we'll make it through. Don't worry about us. But worry about us. Just support us. That's all I want. I want you to stick around and keep watching and keep loving me. Love my face and love my body. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this clears up some things, and I hope that you will forward this video to those who have seemed to be so very misinformed by the processes that we face as YouTube creators. See you next time, and keep on watching the stars.